We're back. This week, we're joined by Louis Frapporti, partner in the Gowling WLG law firm. And Lou, as we went to break, we talked about how you're heavily involved in your community. I call you, and others do too, the global ambassador for the city of Hamilton. Much like they say Drake is the global ambassador for the Toronto Raptors. And you were chairman of the attempt to bring the Commonwealth Games to Hamilton. There's all kinds of other community stuff you and your family do as well. But let's touch on the Commonwealth Games for just a second, because that was such a big deal. And you guys really went at it hard, didn't you?
We did. Stephen, let me say that comparing or having me in the same sentence as Drake is probably way overly generous. I don't belong anywhere near Drake in that conversation, but I am somebody who passionately believes in community and have been for a very long time, someone who's cared a lot about the city of Hamilton and its future. And getting involved in the Commonwealth Games was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. It was a very difficult experience. It was a privilege to be an ambassador for the city with others, including PJ Mercanti, who I know you know, and to go around the world evangelizing the city and its community and the people who live here as worthy of bringing the centenary of the Games. I think most people realize that the Games were founded in Hamilton in 1930. That was an incredible adventure. It began really with PJ coming to me, having the idea along with some other community leaders that the Games should come back to Hamilton for its centenary in 2030. And of course, acknowledging the fact that the city had attempted to bring the Games back here on 3 prior occasions and had not done so successfully. So having been asked to help a little bit, not knowing at all what I was getting into, I began the journey of trying to understand what the Commonwealth Games were and how we might secure the right to do that in the city of Hamilton. And that was 4 or 5 years of my life through a pandemic, obviously, and ending relatively recently.
I think too, when you do something that we all work hard, we all work long hours on that, but you were probably during that part, I'm sure it was more than full-time work doing that stuff too, the passion. That when you follow your passion, it usually is, correct?
That's a very good observation, I think, and it's certainly true in our case. You know, I began not really fully appreciating what was involved in trying to secure the rights to host something that significant in a community, and not also understanding what the impacts would be of having something like that in the community. And the more I got into it, the more people I met, the more the weight of it was made clear to me, the more we sort of leaned into it and really put everything we had. And it became a very large group of people over a period of time, including the mayor and a variety of other community leaders that got involved. But the experience of it, the difficulty of it, the opportunity to learn so many new things about so much, was really transformative in my life. And you wouldn't think that it would have much to do with the law. I think certainly many of the things that I learned as a lawyer in managing complex projects was relevant to that. You know, but in the end, it was something that has really changed how I look at community, how I look at, interestingly enough, the most marginalized in the community is benefiting from something like that. And although it looks very doubtful that the Games will come back here for 2030, I'm very confident that something will happen around the Commonwealth Games in Hamilton for 2030. And of course, there is some slim hope, given what's going on internationally, that the Games might find their way back. I really hope that they do, because I think it would be a crowning achievement for this community heading into the next century.
Probably hasn't been told to you enough, but from a Hamiltonian and all of us, we want to say thank you for that, because it is a real task, and we appreciate what you've done to put us on the map internationally too. So I'll switch gears a little bit back to the lawyer chat and the legal profession, because obviously it's not something where we can say, and I'll try and pick the words nicely, where you lawyers aren't like, people don't come up on the street and give you hugs. You aren't like loved out there. So why do you think that is? What gave you that reputation, you guys as a group?
Well, it's probably fair to say it certainly preceded me, I'd like to think, and I think most folks are aware of the fact that lawyers' jokes are common currency everywhere. I think in some respects it's well earned. You know, the profession itself is a challenging one. Obviously, it's expensive to engage a lawyer. I think the industry hasn't done a very good job of focusing on the best interests of its clients in many cases. I think also, folks tend to deal with lawyers outside of the commercial context in very difficult personal circumstances. So if you have to deal with somebody at a very difficult part of your life, whether it's a divorce lawyer or in the case of an estate, or for those who have criminal issues, who deal with criminal matters, obviously these are very hard and difficult things to contend with. And so the people that surround you in those circumstances can carry the weight of that. But obviously, I think there's a lot to unpack in how lawyers serve the public, and I look forward to talking with you a little bit more about that.
We'll do that. We're going to ask you for your advice you'd give to people, but we have to take a break. More with Canadian innovators and our guest, Lou Frapporti, when we continue. Stay with us.